In this week's episode of NDVision.
I tried to make a compromise. Well, I'll get you a flip phone because I'm a flip phone guy. I don't have an iPhone.
Do you have your flip phone on you right now?
I do.
Yeah. Just flip.
Let me get it out.
Look at this. What else are we going to talk about? There's a bunch of stuff.
Oh, we're going to talk about weed. We're going to talk about...
Gosh.
What else?
Weed.
Let's save that for last so everybody keeps listening to this nonsense. I don't follow sports.
Oh, yeah.
I could care less. I wouldn't know...
Same. Welcome to this week's episode of NDVision. I'm joined here by a very special guest. First of the year, by the way. Happy 2024. I can't believe it's 2024. But Andrew Harris. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Great.
Andrew, as most of us know, is the kind of leader of the Wellsville Sun, and now you have two others as well, right?
The Hornell and the Keuka.
Yeah. I do want to talk about that, but before we get into that, I like to ask every guest, just tell me about yourself. Give me your brief history.
The briefest history is I was born in Jones Memorial Hospital. Mm-hmm. Cliff Miller was my doctor. He saved my life. I was a breech baby. It was kind of a weird delivery, and I was one of his first. And my whole life, I credited him with saving my life, and we always talked about it. So I got to mention him.
Yeah.
And I grew up up in the country and in the town. A lot of my teenage years were spent on Main Street, harassing people, causing mischief. And I've never really left Wellsville. I have a couple times, but for college, and I moved down to Virginia at one point just as a token. You have to move somewhere.
Yeah,
and,
we moved to Philly for 3 years.
Yeah, and it was always, to me, it was like, why would I want to live somewhere else?
Right.
So I haven't ever left. I've ran a bar. I try to do my part, and now it's the Wellsville Sun that runs my life. What
made you want to start the Wellsville Sun? Because you started it before it really launched.
It started as a Facebook page in the kitchen of Better Days.
Okay.
Because I was the cook at Better Days. So there's, when you're a cook, you have orders or you don't. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of downtime. So in the downtime, I wanted to create something that made a great face for Wellsville.
Yeah.
Because the Daily Reporter was starting to wane, and...
It's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone now. And so I just wanted to have some way to say, here's the good news going on.
Yep.
To bring people to town and to market Wellsville was what I really wanted to do with it. Mm-hmm. So I did that for years, just as a hobby on Facebook. Nothing serious. But I'm a news junkie. To this day, I still probably read 10 news sites a day.
Wow. What are the top three that you read?
Top three?
Yep.
Empire News Report.
Okay.
NPR.
Yep.
And Al Jazeera or BBC, one of the two.
Okay. Is Empire just New York news, or?
Empire is EmpireNewsReport.com is a list of all the news in New York every day.
Really?
Kind of New York City based, but tons of stuff that I need to know about every day. Mm-hmm. But if you're a news junkie and you're not going there, you're missing out.
Yeah. Okay, so Empire News, definitely check that out. But if you just want local news, Wellsville Sun, Hornell Sun, and now Keuka Sun.
Keuka Sun, right. It's all the same mission.
Yep.
To try to bring back just local news, not so much, a little bit of state news, but focus on the really local stuff, like the Lions Club donations, Nick Davis's podcast,
right,
of Wellsville people, to try to be I think John Anderson uses the term hyper local, where you make sure you give your community a voice,
right,
and that's really what everybody was worried about when the Daily Reporter went out. And then Mike Baldwin, who's been a great influence.
Regional news. Right?
He picked up the ball when the Daily Reporter went out, and did a great job. And he just did it for free, though. He did it just as a community service, and that only goes so far. You have to have enterprise behind the press to fuel the machine. You can't do it for free.
Right.
Well, he got burnt out and quit. And I remember the day he quit, it was right after the pandemic started.
When we needed news the most.
Right in that area. But when the pandemic started, my previous business venture failed as well because it was all restaurant based.
Right. Oh, you were getting produce from Buffalo and stuff, right? Or something like that?
Delivered from Wellsville or Elford farms down here to Buffalo.
Oh, so reverse. Sorry.
But all the restaurants closed down.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, bam, it's over.
Yeah.
And it was never really, I don't think I ever made a dime in profit, but it was one of those things I was building that just died.
Right.
And then Mike Baldwin said, I've had it, I'm done. And I thought to myself, wow, at least there's a market opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not a journalist by trade. I dabble in it. And I just kind of said, I'll just do this. I'll try it and see what happens. It doesn't cost much to start a website.
Right.
And to work for, you're working for yourself. So I started it, and I think within 3 days, Facet Lane Lumber called and said, hey, we want to advertise. We love this idea. This is great. We believe in you. And I was like, wow, really? And then I think Nancy Hart from the Hart store called 2 days later and said, hey, yeah, I believe in you too. We need this. Let's do it. And so just those two things gave me the confidence and made me realize that people not just wanted it, but they would pay for it.
Right.
And being unemployed in the middle of a pandemic starting, I thought, well, this seems like a pretty good deal.
And news and media were allowed to stay open during the pandemic. That's how I was able to stay open, is because my business is classified under news and media, so I was able to keep working, and it all turned into just COVID work, grants and everything from the state for marketing for small businesses and all that.
So it was just timing is everything.
Yeah.
Fate. I'm a fatist, so I think fate intervened, and it was right at the right time.
And it was obviously working out. I mean,
It worked out. Very good.
What's the peak story so far that you've had on the Wellsville Sun?
In
Just in general, since that you can remember.
I'm pretty sure it was. I just did a story about the top 5 stories of 2023.
Okay.
The top story, I believe, was the top story ever, and this is a great time to bring John Anderson in to the tale here, because I don't follow sports.
Oh yeah.
I could care less. I wouldn't know.
Same.
Don't care. All I hope is that the Bills win so that people are in a good mood in the store. Back when I owned a Better Days, of course, sports was a bigger part of the mix, and it really depended on if the Bills or the Sabres did well, we made more money.
Right.
Because people wanted to come out. This is back when people wanted to come out still.
Yeah.
To watch sports.
I remember when I was working for Pearl Street, Jared Evans, when he owned Pearl Street, I would volunteer to work like the Super Bowls and stuff in high school. I'd volunteer to deliver pizzas because I don't care about sports, but I made it seem like I cared about sports when I was delivering, and people were happy. So they were tipping. They're like, sorry, you have to work, man. Here's $20. So I made the most money I think ever at Pearl Street Pizza in one night. It was Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I didn't care about sports, but I made it seem like I did.
Yeah, right. I mean, you do care because you want you want their team to win, even though you don't really know what team it is. Back to the top story. This was the biggest story we've ever had on the Wellsville Sun, I'm pretty sure. And it was back in the summer. It was in July. And it was a Hornell high school baseball game. And something happened. At the end of the game, as best I can tell you, the pitcher or the catcher thought he had gotten the final out.
Okay.
And he put the ball in his pocket, and he ran to the rest of his team, which was Hornell, to celebrate.
Hornell baseball.
And they all, they're in a pile, they're celebrating, they're having a great time. They won the game. And meanwhile, the umpires are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And the other team's rounding the bases still.
Oh, no.
And in the middle of it all, they realized what happened, that he didn't tag the last runner out.
Yeah.
Based on what the umpire said. So they're trying to find the ball to tag one of these runners out while they're running because they only need one run to win.
Oh, no.
And they can't find the ball because it's in his pocket at the bottom of the pile celebrating. So it's a sports story, but it's also a tale of,
Whoops.
Be careful.
Yeah.
At the championship level before you start celebrating. And wow, this story went around the world.
Did it?
I mean, New Zealand, Australia, Japan.
This one, the inconceivable loss?
Huge in Canada.
Oh, because Japanese love baseball and Little League.
Singapore loves baseball. Australia loves baseball.
Oh.
India loves baseball. Things you find out. But this is a great time to show like how good John Anderson is at his job.
Yeah.
The game happens. He's in the middle of traveling somewhere. He's like either in the airport already or he's driving to the airport. And somebody texts him, wow, this just happened. And he is writing the story as he's checking his luggage into the hospital, into the airport.
That's a very John Anderson thing to do.
And as it's evolving, he has a son that helps him out a lot.
Okay.
Maybe we want to edit that part out. I'll start over. John got a video from somebody that was really crystal clear of what happened, and nobody else had it. And he is in line to board the plane, and they're yelling, boarding, boarding, and he's holding off the lady, like, I got to finish this. I'm doing this. And he's trying to upload the video and get it done. And right before the ticket lady's like, come on, last chance, buddy. He hits enter, hits publish, shuts his laptop, gets on the plane, and he gets off the plane where he's landing, probably out west somewhere, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got 200 calls. It's been picked up by major media all over the place, and I think it had 160,000 people read the story.
Wow.
I think that was our biggest ever.
That's awesome.
Which was great because the story before that was like 100,000 people read it, but it was a terrible story about people dying in a fire.
Oh, right.
Not something you want to remind people about. Wow, our top story was the worst story in the world.
Right, right.
So this is a good story to say, hey.
Hornell baseball, wind turbine.
Yeah, the wind turbine fire was a big deal.
Highway crash.
Bad crashes. Oak Duke.
Oh, yeah, Kinley. I work with them. I'm talking to them right now, by the way. I think they're going to do a year style video, like a reach out video.
Well, that's good because we don't hear much from them.
Yeah, that's what they said. They're like, we need it is.
Oh, good.
It is. So there'll be more on that. I don't want to get into it too much because I don't know what's going to happen. But
that's a huge story.
Yeah,
because that plant shutting down. When I was a kid, there was people just poured in and out of there every day at lunch and 3 shifts, and then it was gone.
That was a pretty big story of mine. For that, but the smog was definitely the biggest for me.
The wildfires.
Yeah, the wildfires when the smog hit Wellsville, and it was just.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't show up. That was big though.
People thought that I edited that video, and I didn't touch it. I literally put it on my phone, added text, and uploaded it. It was that color out because it was the brown smog, haze, and I think that's why it was like so good. So what made you want to go into, because Hornell? Does Hornell still have Evening Tribune? Or?
Hornell does, yep.
Okay. I don't know anything from Keuka except for the Facebook page.
Well, the reason for Hornell is the same as Wellsville, I guess, that or as soon as we started Wellsville, people from Hornell asked, can you please,
cool.
We need this too.
Yeah.
Even though they still do have the Tribune, which does a good job.
I never see any stories from the Tribune.
It's a corporate entity now.
Right.
It's not the people that actually do the hard work don't have any control over what happens.
Is Chris Potter still there?
Yeah. I mean, he's the anchor, I think.
Wow.
Without him, Neil Simon, there's a couple, they're working hard, but they're working for the man and not for the community.
Okay.
Which I think is backwards.
Shitty, yeah. I'm just going to turn it.
You should be working for the community.
Right.
It's almost like a public job, like a police officer or a government official kind of job where you have to have their interests ahead of profit and ahead of your own interests for sure.
Right. And you do, I mean, you post to the Sun between you and John, whoever else you have, you post just about anything that people send in. Like if there's like a dinner coming up or a charity, it's always posted in the Sun.
I mean, we probably do too much. We have a new site coming out soon that's going to be, if you have a community event, it's going to be free to publish it yourself.
Okay.
Have it on the site, and then there'll be classified ads that you can pay for.
Yeah.
And then hopefully legal ads too will be part of that in the future. But right now, that's not New York State law. It has to go into a hard copy publication to be legal. We're hoping that, and I think it's inevitable that legal ads will go to digital at some point. So we're hoping to have like a good do-it-yourself site where you don't need to call me to put your story about your chicken and biscuit dinner up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that's kind of the charm, though, of the Wellsville Sun is that it is that local source. Like, when you posted the story about the New York State scanning all the old newspapers, my wife and I we were on that site all night looking at things, and they would like the Daily Reporter used to post some really cool, interesting stuff. Like I learned that there was a bunch of like the Monday Club used to be massive, I guess, and then there was a bunch of other organizations that I've never even heard of.
I mean, we want community news. The problem it's not a problem with Wellsville. It's a great thing about Wellsville and Andover and all these towns is that we have constant fundraisers.
Right.
For every little thing.
And it would just turn into fundraising.
If every time somebody sent me, we're having a barbecue dinner or having a benefit or having even just a book club or the church events, any of that kind of stuff, it would dominate. All you'd read was about
events that are happening. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So we have to limit it, but I think by creating the new site, they can all do it themselves, and then we just make sure that's a big part of the Wellsville Sun. And it'll be the Hornell, Wellsville, Keuka whole area will contribute to these. And
then you just kind of pull the bigger things out to post on the Sun, or how are you gonna?
Well, there'll be paid options where you can pay to have it promoted on the Sun if you want to.
Gotcha.
But in general, we want that to be like a place where people go to look to see what's community news.
Yeah.
Like where's the next bake sale?
Right.
Type thing.
I love bake sales.
Or when's there going to be a bingo? Or, that kind of stuff.
I wish they'd bring bingo back.
They did.
Did they?
Had it, yeah.
Where?
The Legion had it, I think.
Really?
I think there's Google.
That's the type of the date nights that my wife and I like. We went to the library in Little Genesee, had a cooking night where they showed people how to make sushi.
Oh.
And it was great. We loved it. Keuka, son. What brought you out to Keuka?
So we went to Keuka because...
Now, is that just Hammondsport, or is it all of Keuka
No,
Lake?
it's like, I would say it goes pretty much from like Dansville, Geneseo, Penyan, Hammondsport, Bath, and even into Yates County a little bit, in the Seneca Lake area.
Yeah.
I guess we had a choice, either to go to Olean, do the Olean type Sun, or to do the Keuka Sun. It's about the same distance.
I think the Keuka needed it more. Does Olean still do the time?
Olean has the Times Herald.
Yeah.
But you hear the same complaints that, it's a much smaller operation than it ever was, and they could use more media there. Don't get me wrong. They could. And I think we could make a viable market or model over there, especially with Cuba. But.
Because the Patriots done. Yeah. Feel free to take a drink, by the way.
I really like the Finger Lakes.
Yeah. Keuka is our favorite lake. We're biased, but
and it's just I was telling somebody the other night, if you draw a line from Geneseo to Naples down, it's like a whole different world.
Yeah, that's true. It's so gorgeous out there too. We love going to the windmill. There's a campground out there. It's Lakeview Campgrounds. Yep. Bare bones. This woman named Linda owns it, but has the best view I think that there is, and it's like $40 a night. We just pop our pop-up. She has electric and water, heated showers, and that's all we need.
I mean, the view, the value of views in the Finger Lakes area compared to here, it's just you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a view.
Yeah,
here you're paying tens of thousands, and it just kind of changes when you cross over the Steuben, like. Almost like you go past Wayland into Naples, and it's like a whole different world.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we decided to go that way, because there's only so much we can do.
Yep. Now, do you have a correspondent out there because you can't be everywhere all at once?
In the Keuka, we have a great partner in mysticmedia.com.
Okay.
As a company out of Hornell.
All right.
And the owner of that, his name's Jim Moore. Me and him have gotten to be pretty good buddies and partners, and he kind of handles half of that.
Okay.
Which is convenient because he has a whole web building, web hosting, operation, so he can be working on stuff together for all 3 sites, and then we work together on that site.
Okay.
And he is, what do we call him? Our chief Finger Lakes enthusiast.
That's a cool name.
Because when he has time off, he and his lovely wife, they travel all through the Finger Lakes and go to breweries and wineries and hang out and talk to the owners and eat, and then they make little stories on it. And it just seems like a better world to me than Olean. I like Olean, but Finger Lakes, Olean, sorry, Finger Lakes wins.
Yeah. Finger Lakes just seems like more your vibe. Anyway, it's more my vibe.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to have, a reason to go there?
I go every chance I can get.
Yeah, right. So that's what I said.
We'll take our kids to Keuka Lake State Park so we get the Empire Pass every year so they can go, and we do Stony Brook. That's Finger Lakes. There's a bunch.
Yeah, there's so much to do. And there's so much.
Especially in the fall.
It's almost like a black hole.
Yeah.
Where there's just, could you ever do it all? Could you ever go to all the wineries and breweries?
No, and more keep popping up all the time.
Destinations, parks, and just the lakes themselves are just a natural wonder to that,
Have you ever been to the, oh my gosh, what's the name of it? The Mission Center on Hemlock Lake. Mm-mm. So it was this old Catholic boys' school. So it literally looks like a castle out there. And some guy, and I think he says that he has some sort of agreement with the diocese, but I think he was just a squatter. And he's like refurbing things and turning it into Airbnbs. Oh. I took my kids in the winter just as a daddy kids escape, and it was really cool. He let us explore it all, and you go to the top and you can see Hemlock Lake there, and it was great.
Wow. That's a good example.
You should check it out.
There's so many of those places.
Actually, I'm surprised John Keuka hasn't done any stories on that place yet.
Oh, right.
Man, that guy has a dream job.
Well, he's extremely talented.
Oh, for sure.
And just hardworking. This guy is up.
He's everywhere.
He is up at 3 a.m.
Yep.
To try to find the best place to be at dawn. And then he goes to the next best place. Yeah. And then he goes home, and I guess he goes home to sleep at some point. But yeah, he's amazing.
I should have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's been to the studio a couple times.
It might be a hard get. He's kind of a celebrity.
Oh, yeah. You're a celebrity too, though.
No. No.
If I could handle having Rich Shear on, I can handle having John Keuka.
Yeah. Rich Shears and the John, those two are in the same league. Yeah,
the legacies. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be even. I got 20, 30 years till I can get in that club.
Yeah. So you have any plans to expand past just keeping these 3?
That's it.
You don't want to be like Rome, too big to fail,
I don't.
Too big to manage.
No, that's it. We have all sorts of opportunities, and things are, ways to grow, and I don't want to have to manage some giant. I think I probably could
corporation
keep going.
like you.
Yeah, you could keep going because there's such a demand and there's nobody else doing it. Mm-hmm. I can see why it's not. It's not for everybody.
I have people come to me and ask me to put out stories or come cover something, and I'm like, I don't know. I usually send them to you, or I'll send them to John with stuff like that because I'm more visual. I think sometimes I get looped into the news source, but that's not who.
Right,
I'm just a visual company. I'll take pretty pictures of the balloon rally or video clips of balloon rally and post them. Yeah. But that's about, I don't want to go to courts and I've gotten asked to go into courts to film and stuff. It's nah.
Yeah, I would stay away from that.
Yeah.
But it's a sign of the situation that, there's really, the old media is almost done. Mm-hmm. The newspapers are not going to There's no indication they're going to stick around.
Nope.
I'm sure a few might, because some people will pay top dollar, maybe the New York Times. Mm-hmm. But in general, print media, I think, is going to be over with.
Yeah. There'll probably be a few boutique places because people, there's still that market, but
sure.
But you're absolutely right.
But we just can't. Not everybody can jump in and do that.
No.
You got to take the responsibility if you're going to do it.
It can't be a side hustle.
Yeah. It can't just be a Facebook blog,
right?
Or just a Substack or something like that. It has to be like, you have to be ready to meet people in person and engage, and take the calls, because it's a lot of inflow between emails and phone calls every day. It's sometimes dozens a day. And if you can't do that, then you're not really filling the role.
How many emails and missed calls do you think you're going to have after we get done recording this?
None.
None?
No, this won't. No, I don't. I hope not.
Speaking of growth, though, did you also, with Cassandra, started kind of you started it, I imagine, small and in a small form, the Facet Green Space, and now it's turned into this amazing labyrinth, and it has, in the summertime, the fountain running, and then it has the covers now in the back there.
No, they're done.
Oh, they're done?
They're done.
Oh, no.
The bums ruined them.
The bums.
Maybe we should start that segment over.
Yeah. No, it's fine. But go into how it grew into what it is now.
So it happened pretty simply. The building got knocked down. That was there my whole life. I got my first haircut in that building.
What was the building?
The Facet.
The Facet House.
Yeah, Facet House. It was actually where the village of Wellsville was formed. It was the main meeting place forever here. They knocked it down, and everybody was kind of like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Now we have this vacant space. And as I recall, immediately somebody wanted it for a parking lot. And the guy that owned it died suddenly, but he left it to Andy Glansman in his will. Or Andy Glansman bought it from his estate. I can't remember which. And when Andy bought it, he said, nobody's ever going to put a parking lot here.
Right.
No way. This is going to be something else. I'm not allowing that to happen. So he just kind of had it. And me and Andy are good friends. And one day I said to him, hey, we just got that lot there. Let's start a community garden. Yeah. Because my aunt, Jackie Dean Searle, she's a Wellsville girl. She'd started a community garden in Castle Rock, Colorado. Oh, wow. And had great success.
That's a cool name.
I watched it from a distance. Yeah. And been like, wow, that's cool. Well, we should do that in Wellsville. Yeah. And so we did it. And we didn't have any money or any supporters, so I just built 4 or 5 wooden boxes.
I remember those. They were right up front there.
Yeah, filled them full of soil. And we had the ICS kids or kids come help out, and we did what we could do.
R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P., yeah. And it worked out fine. Yeah. It was just simple boxes, and I didn't have, I wanted to do more. I probably, if it was up to me, I would have just done more wooden boxes. Yeah. And covered the whole lot with wooden boxes. Imagine how that would look right now. I know. Luckily, Cassandra Bull came into the picture, and this young lady calls me up out of the blue and is like, hey, I want to help you with this.
She was Cornell, right?
Alfred,
okay.
So she worked for Alfred State College in the Office of Engagement. So her job was literally, Alfred State pays her to go out in the community and do good. Wow. And she was like, well, I was doing food not bombs at the time, which I don't do anymore, and doing that. And she said, how can I help both these things? And I said, well, food not bombs is not that hard. You just go to the grocery store and get the extra food and hand it out in the street. Mm-hmm. The community garden I could use some help with. Right. She said, okay, I'll help. Well, next thing you know, she's got $200,000 in grants from Ralph Wilson, and she's hand designed these designs, and she's partnered with everybody, and it went faster than I could keep track of. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is insane. Wow, next thing you know, we got this place. Yeah. And she did all of it. I did some of it, but she did it all.
And you had a local artist design the fountain, right? from Alfred?
She and Andy, I shouldn't say just she did it, Andy and Tina Glansman made it all possible. They donate the land, they volunteer with the nonprofit, they make it happen.
Yeah.
But Cassandra and Andy, they met. His name was Bill Underhill. He was like a 95-year-old guy.
Oh, geez.
And back in the day in Berkeley, California, he was the number one sculpting artist in the country.
Okay.
He was it. And then he taught, did his career, made a lot of great stuff, made a name for himself, and retired to Alfred. And he was an emeritus professor with AU. And so they talked to him and said, hey, would you design something for us? And he went and did it. And Cassandra went and got the money. And Alfred University let us use their foundry. And I think if you go back on the Facet Green Space, or the on our website, which is actually artforruralamerica.com.
Yep.
You'll see the whole process. But it's that whole thing has turned out great. Thanks to Andy, Tina, Cassandra, Elaine Hardman, a bunch of people that worked really hard on it. But the big thing that I want to talk about in regards to the Facet Green Space is that it's underutilized. We've always had some buy-in, some participation from schools and other local groups, but the point of the garden is to bring more of the community in.
Yeah.
And let them figure out how they want to use the space to their own benefit. So we've had some success in that regard, but not enough. So if you're a teacher of a class, if you're a local civic group, even if you're just like a yoga instructor, this space we created this for you to use. It's not a private space. It doesn't cost anything. We want you to call us and ask us to use it for free, and we want to help you make your event and however you can use it better.
Right.
One of the best things is growing food, teaching kids how to put a seed in the ground and watching what happens, or teaching kids how to put a seedling in the ground. But the whole art of growing vegetables is, I can't overstate how important it is.
Right.
I mean, just imagine if things go to hell in this world. You're going to want to know.
Yeah.
You're going to want to teach your kids how these basic things work.
We grew potatoes one year, and we harvested them, and I think we got like 10 or so potatoes, and they were all misshapen, but the kids were so happy.
Right.
And they ate them. They were so happy to eat them. Yeah.
Just think later in life.
Yeah. Potatoes are one of the easiest things to grow. You just
we did it down
cut
here
them
this
and
year.
dig them in the ground.
Yeah, we had a potato digging party.
Really?
And
what was the horseradish thing?
people are like, wow, this is how potatoes grow?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. I'm like, yeah, they grow underground. They're roots.
A root vegetable.
Same with, horseradish went right. It was kind of late in the year. Horseradish is something that you have to take it, skin it,
Grind it
grate
down.
that kind of stuff.
Did you do ginger?
No, ginger doesn't grow real well around here.
Oh, okay. Too cold?
And I don't know about too cold. I think that it's more of a specialized crop. Some people are doing it. There's a variety of, it was a pink ginger that somebody around here was growing. But
I remember I like right after the walls were put up and things were planted, because the brick came afterwards. My dad did that, by the way. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, your dad laid the whole foundation of the thing, I think.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do the stone. He didn't do the crushed run. He did all the brick down.
I mean,
on the bottom.
brick. Yeah. Right. Kevin LaForge did all the site prep for us.
Yep.
He came in and laid all the brick.
Yep.
Yep. And then you even helped a couple
I
times.
did. I did know.
He did it for very cheap. And
Yeah.
another example of how it all came together by people like him saying, yeah, I do this for a living.
Yeah. I think we were down there for leadership Allegheny. That was my group's project was to help out to build the wall because Cassandra was just starting the walls.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, we need to put some brick in here to make ADA. We just can't find somebody. I'm like, oh, I know somebody that does it for a living.
Well, lifesaver.
Yeah.
You did a great job. And
it still looks good.
Yeah, it's holding up good. I think that place is going to hold up. I mean, it's nice to build something it's literally giant blocks of concrete set on top of concrete.
I love when I have the drone up in the air randomly in Wellsville. I love just like seeing where it is. It's kind of like my waypoint for south to the start end of Main Street there.
Well, that's what Cassandra's initial goal was to build earth art.
Yeah.
Meaning art you can see from far, far away. Mm-hmm. So I think she accomplished that goal.
I think so. You could definitely see it from a plane if you were up and landed at the airport.
I mean, it changes the whole Main Street dynamic, I think. We could use another one somewhere.
In the summer when stuff is growing up, it looks gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, Kate chose to film her first dance film there.
Yeah, that dance film was great. Yeah. It looked great there. Yeah, there is. I'm not going to mention her name here, but she's a sweetheart that moved to town. She's from England, and a lot of people know her. But she's threatened my life if I mention her name more than I should. But she has, looking at those flowers there, she's literally come down there, and that whole outside ring is all flowers. Mm-hmm. She's curated that to the point where she has stuff in there that will come up in successions that I wouldn't know what they even were. But if you're a flower person, you come there and like, wow, you've got one of those here. And we've had people come from Corning to come see certain kinds of what was it? What is that thing? Forget-me-nots.
Oh, okay. There's a flower called forget-me-nots.
She has 6 different kinds of forget-me-nots. And this.
How cool would it be to have like someone like Tammy come down and do some sort of like potting, like seminar there or something, like just in that people can stand around and she can show people how to pot and then they can plant it in or something like that.
That'd be great. Yeah. I mean, any local business who can use that to their benefit, they should consider ways to do it.
We've talked about it before, but I've just gotten busier than I ever thought I would, but I would love to just do some sort of just unplugged acoustic sets there with local art. Like there's that Buckwheat kid that's around, Matt Burns, that Brianna Blankenship, she goes around just legitimately unplugged, just acoustic.
That's why we built that back area. Yeah. To be, it's shaped like a.
But those things are gone now.
The shade sails had to go because we couldn't keep the vagrants out. Yeah. Because of the shade. And they're just, it was a disaster every day.
Sitting on there smoking their cigarettes.
It's not just, cigarettes is the least of the concerns.
Right.
I mean, it's whenever you create a space for the public, be ready to clean up for the public. Yeah. And be ready to clean everything up. You name it.
Well, I can tell you whenever we walk by it, my kids always stop and play those instruments. And I end up playing them myself with them because it's just fun.
They are. They're perfect. They're great. That's Elaine Hardman. I think that was her big idea. Yeah. Cassandra got the money for them.
And there's the little free library there now.
Yep. Library.
And then you're trying to build a living sign. Is that what it is?
So we'll use this as a segue to the next conversation. Okay. In the big grant opportunities that Wellsville has right now, Andy Glansman's taken the lead on this, and he's gotten an application in for us to build a wall that will have living, plants and ivies and stuff along the backside, along the previously known as Stillwater. Yeah. And then along the back parking lot in order to kind of, Andy's an artist. He wants things framed into the eye. And I think he's right. That if you're standing, or if you're driving down Main Street and you look over, if there's a nice wall that has ivies and flowers and whatever growing on it, it trains the eye to the garden as opposed to looking at the high school. Yeah. No offense to the high school, but or to the Stillwater, or previously the Stillwater. He wants to frame that in, which I think is important for that reason, and also to keep people from Park Plaza Liquor from walking right from the liquor store and stopping there to have their liquor.
The line starts up here. They walk from Madison down, and
it comes from both ways.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know the other way. I just know this direction.
it's a nice place to drink liquor, apparently.
Yeah,
I don't.
All the flowers.
Me myself, I've not, but
I did that video with Chelsea. Do you remember that?
I were doing like a salad.
Yeah, she did a salad on just ingredients there. I mean, aside from the dressing, but that went pretty well.
Yeah, I think every restaurant should be doing that down there.
Yeah,
going down there. I mean, and the amount of herbs down there. Just the herbs, not the vegetables.
No, I do know that she goes down and gets like sage and parsley and stuff like that.
Good, so it's so much that and nobody really utilizes it.
I've grabbed some sage from my mom to like take up to her. So
yeah, we got some. Usually we have some pretty neat stuff down there that you can't get anywhere else.
So the living wall, would that be all three sides, or would it just be like two?
It'd be along. It's going to be along the previously Stillwater side.
Yep,
and then back. Along the parking lot on the back side towards the river.
Yep.
Is the plan.
And is it just going to be, how tall do you think it's going to be if everything goes through? Like 10 feet?
I think more like 15.
Holy.
It's going to cover, you're not going to be able to see anything but that wall.
That is huge.
That's the goal, is to stop the eye at the wall.
That's higher than this. Yeah. This is a high ceiling. Yeah. And that's higher than this. I'm
guessing similar to this.
Wow.
And don't quote me on that.
No, it's going to be tall.
It's not off the record.
Yeah.
But it's not, I don't know for sure, but yeah, it's Andy's goal, and I think he's right, is to block the eye from traveling past the garden.
Yeah.
And then have cool stuff. We'll grow stuff. We'll grow gourds. We'll grow. There's a lot of really cool climbing plants you can grow.
Could you like team up with? How cool would it be to have like a dinner in the garden, like in the back there, just have a table set up and then the stuff could come in? That would be really cool.
I mean, it's open to every restaurant in town to do that, or caterers.
And it's all free.
Or private families. You want to have your day down there?
Yeah.
Just call us. We'd love to host it and let you know where the power is, where the water is, and do it for free.
That would be cool to have it blocked off kind of on all the three sides. So that way when you're in there, you feel like it's your own little labyrinth.
Yeah, but then does it become more of a private?
No, right.
Not a public?
People might not want to walk in as easily.
Because I think if we did that, we would just fence the whole thing in.
Right.
And make it where we open it up.
I don't know if you could have like an arch or something as like an entryway that you don't have to lock. You can just have it there.
I mean, we talked about, what about wrought iron fence around the whole thing?
Yeah.
With a Gothic gate at the front you open up every day and let people in.
Then you'd have to have someone open it up every day and stuff.
I don't want somebody that's waiting for the bus to not be able to go in and sit down. And it's not just up to me.
Right.
But I think that I speak for everybody that we really want it to be like Andy and Tina, the owners, and me and Cassandra and Elaine and all the people that volunteer. I think we really honestly want it to be a gift to the community.
Right.
We want this to be what we do for you, not make it so you have to pay or you have to have a key or. Because
isn't it on the site or somewhere there's like a calendar or something? You had it at some point, right?
We might have. There's just not enough use of it to warrant it. I kind of just do it out of my back pocket.
Right.
Cassandra left us. She moved away.
Yeah, she was up in Boston, then she went down to.
She's in New Jersey now.
Oh, she's back up in.
Yep, she's in Jersey now.
Oh, wow.
She's doing well there, but she did her part, and she's
It's like it was like her mic drop. She's like, here you go, Allegheny County, and I'm out.
Yeah, no, she's still the president of our organization.
Oh, really?
And no, she still exerts full control over everything. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
she just isn't physically here.
In today's world, you don't need to
be. No, trust me, she's running the show.
Yeah,
she's watching right now.
So you're gonna build a wall essentially at the Facet Green. I'm just kidding. No, but so
Andy will not like that.
A living wall there.
A living wall.
And is it just like vines or what?
I think we're gonna grow some.
Because you have to have a base of something, right?
I don't know what it's gonna be made of.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a wooden structure.
Yep.
That's gonna have the ability it's being made so that we can put either murals. So it'll probably be sections of the wall.
Okay.
So one section might have a mural.
Yep.
One section might have Hardy Huey growing up it.
Yeah.
Mural, rosebush. I don't know.
Because when you were describing it, the living wall, I was thinking that it would be just straight like shrubbery, and then like green, and then you could put things in it. Or
This is post and wood and
Okay.
a physical wall.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive to put up. Well, not expensive, but not.
Wood's expensive.
Yeah.
There's no shine around that.
Yeah, and then, but it's going to be kind of a blank canvas to do what we want to with it, and I can't speak. I'll have to ask Cassandra what she wants to do.
Right. Man, next time she's in town, I should have her on here.
You should. No.
I do want to ask you a question before we go into the next segment. You didn't email me this, and it's nothing crazy, so don't worry. But Wellsville, a theme on this, speaking with some people, is Wellsville is kind of having a renaissance right now, where the two generations are kind of doing a step back, and then millennials and later Gen X's are kind of stepping up to buy the businesses. Most of Main Street is now young women-owned businesses. How exciting is it to watch that? Because you said you grew up on Main Street and in the area. What do you foresee in the next 5-10 years Wellsville becoming? It's because you're in it every day now too with the Wellsville Sun.
It's exciting to see the difference between in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything just kind of went away.
Right.
When I was younger, Wellsville was booming still.
That's what Rich and Rick and all them have said.
Booming still. It was, just thinking about Airper here and Dresser Rand, they were fully staffed. There was each of them had 100 guys and gals making $100,000 a year.
Right.
It was a big economic loss, and I always knew it would come back. Mm-hmm. Personally, because I think that we have all of the natural assets that are necessary. But to see it actually come back is nice. I've been thrilled to watch it, and I feel like I kind of helped manifest it. Yeah. Because back when I bought a business on Main Street, it was in 2001 when things were not particularly great. But since then, things have only improved. Yeah. And I think now our Main Street, the value of it is being realized again, because it was realized before, but now it's like, wow, there's not many of these Main Street like this left.
We had, I was in the shop. I was in Katie's shop one morning, and there was this lovely couple. They were like all smiles. It made me happy just watching them. Mm-hmm. But they were up from the northern Finger Lakes area, like Syracuse, and they specifically came down to Wellsville because they saw some story in the Sun. I'm not making this up. And they came down just to check out Wellsville and all the shops. They were asking where should we eat? They literally had no idea. And there's what should we do? Where should we eat? So I was like, if you want great lunch, there's, Beef House, L'Italia. If you want something a little lighter, Modern Diner, Texas Hot. Texas Hot's legendary in our area. So I explained to them kind of the things to do, but what Hornell has, the Partners for Growth, that Wellsville doesn't have, that I wish they would have. And I've suggested they have a card in every restaurant or every business with a QR code on it, and it explains everything. It has all the categories and everything that you can go to, and it's an app.
Their app, their app, the HPG app.
That I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's so cool. Why don't we have that?
Well, I don't think it was free to get it.
No. I looked it up. It's like $3,500, and then I think like $600 a year or something to hold the which I feel like.
That's not much.
No.
I wouldn't want to criticize.
No. I'm not asking to criticize, but I wish why don't we?
We definitely need that. I know that mysticmedia.com could create that whole thing.
Yeah.
Or find out who did it for the Hornell people and recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to have that now. Mm-hmm. Everybody.
For when people like that come to town, they can just see it somewhere. Where they stop in and they're just like, oh, this is what we can do.
Yeah. Or if they're thinking about where they're going to go day trip.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Because people, do that.
I Google. So I'll go on Google Maps because there's still places, my wife and I love bed and breakfasts. And there's still places that hardly have a website even. That's bed and breakfast. So I literally will go, and it's usually in the Finger Lakes region. So I'll just zoom in on Google Maps and I'll just call them. We found one on Keuka, in the Branchport side called Gone with the Wind Bed and Breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like this
Themed after the movie?
Yeah, it was themed after the movie. It's so cheap, and it's a great breakfast and a view of the lake and our own private little spot.
Wow.
So, I think more towns need something like that. There you go. That's your next mission.
I think that sounds like a Wellsville Chamber of Commerce mission to me. I don't know if you know anybody involved.
They have gotten a new website up and running, and they have an events page.
Great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, baby steps.
Baby
right?
steps.
You can't do everything,
right?
But I think that should be it should be in the hands of the media or individual. It should be in the hands of somebody like the Chamber of Commerce,
right?
Or the Wellsville Development Corporation would be a great place to start.
Yeah, that'd be good too. I know someone that's on the board. I could ask.
You? Yeah, ask them.
What else are we going to talk about? There's a bunch of stuff.
Oh, we're going to talk about weed. We're going to talk about.
Oh gosh,
what else?
Weed.
Let's save that for last, so everybody keeps listening to this nonsense. What was you have my list of good ideas.
It's 3:28, by the way.
Okay, we got plenty of time. I just got to shop and get the kid.
Are you still vegetarian? Or are you vegan?
I'm a vegan.
Vegan? Straight vegan?
Mm-hmm. We don't need to talk about that.
No. I was just curious. I didn't know if you were. I didn't know if you were vegetarian or vegan.
I'm a vegan. The rest of my family's vegetarian.
My one of my best friends, she just came out to visit. Well, I'm just talking while I'm looking for what we're talking about. She came out to visit from California, and she's a vegan, and she has been for decades at this point now. But her husband, and they just had a baby. They're pescatarians.
Oh.
So he she'll still do the fish and everything for her son and her husband, but she's a vegan. And I used to make a joke. I had a special pan for her.
Oh, yeah.
I would cook all her.
So no animal products.
No animal products in it. But she's gotten to the point where she's like, if I didn't let something slide, not like eating anything, but because I asked her, I was like, well, they fry fries in the same oil that they fry the chicken wings. She's like, it's impossible. You can't do that.
Veganism is you can record this if you want. Veganism is a pursuit.
Yeah.
It's not something you can accomplish because you have to leave your house.
Right.
If you get in your car and drive down the road, you're going to run over stuff.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're running over. You're not, it shouldn't be a religion. I've gone through the whole, the whole cycle of veganism where you discover it.
Mike.
You discover it.
Right.
And then you get on a high horse and you feel like you're enraged that other people don't discover it too.
I feel like that's like religion as well.
It's almost, It's like, why don't you believe this too?
Yeah.
I believe this. And then you realize, it doesn't matter. Your job's not to make other people to believe anything. Just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And when you start raising kids and you try to raise them as a vegan, some people might say I'm full of it, but it's damn near impossible.
Yeah. Well, no, she lives out in California where they're like.
And is that good for kids to be to have such a restrictive diet?
I don't think so.
I don't think it is either. So, I cook vegan food for my family.
Yeah.
But if they want to go to Pizza King and get a pizza, and they eat it.
Yeah.
It just can't be that strict of a thing. But in general, everybody should be eating less meat and more vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's for global warming, for your personal health, or for animal welfare. For all those reasons, like meat, animal protein used to be a treat, a reward, a delicacy. It's not something that we based our diet on. We didn't just eat bacon.
Yeah.
Or just eat, we ate a mix of everything, and meat was the treat part of it. But then all of a sudden, industrial revolution came along, industrial farming came along, and now we're eating, half chickens with a little bit of vegetables on the side.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good for people. I think that that in general, we were omnivores.
Yeah.
You can certainly be fine either being a carnivore or being a vegan, but a good mix of diet is better for everybody.
I love vegetables. I also do love meat. It's actually mainly like I don't think I could live without at least fish. I'm a big fisherman. And so I do love fish. My daughter, she's not that big into meat, and it's fine. Like she loves mashed potatoes and avocados and stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, I just wish people that are saying we want our meat, we want our bacon.
yeah,
They make sure that they know the name of the farmer that raised the animal. Like, don't go to sorry, grocery stores. Don't go to the grocery store. I know you have to. There's nowhere else to. It's hard to find a farmer.
there's Masco or Sunny Cove for meat in our area.
There's quite a few.
Is there really?
There's actually quite a few.
I haven't.
You've seen the stickers. Know your farmer.
Yeah.
Like that's the key. If like I would say, if everybody was knowing their farmer and there was no more industrially produced meat, I might go back to eating meat.
Yeah.
It's not so much of a. I think that meat eating is wrong. I think that the system we live in now, totally encourages animal cruelty. It doesn't. You don't need to be cruel to animals. Maybe until the last moment.
Right.
It's not exactly pleasant, but to make them live in warehouses and to pump them full of chemicals, and
my mom growing up, my mom is a very holistic woman. So growing up, she always had a garden. We always had foods, and she'd experiment. Sometimes her dishes worked out, sometimes they didn't work out. Yeah. But I grew up. I'm not going to shy away to say that I eat meat, but I grew up eating a lot of vegetables as well. That's why I love vegetables. I love meat. I'm just a straight up omnivore guy.
You are a straight up omnivore.
Yeah.
There's no dilemma with you.
No, I could live without meat. I could live without vegetables. Well, I don't even know about that. I couldn't live without rice. I love rice.
Yeah.
My wife couldn't live without potatoes. She loves potatoes.
Yeah, we couldn't live without either, but.
Speaking of meat, though, this is a great transition because there was just a story that shocked the locals about a pretty famous restaurant that we have here on Main Street that is selling Beef House.
Yeah, Beef House, yeah. I think it's the biggest commercial Main Street sale we've had in a long time.
Yeah. Now, I haven't read the story yet just because it was the holidays, and the holidays are always chaos, but... So I'm coming into this blind. So if I ask you questions, don't think I'm ignorant. Is he trying to sell it to keep the Beef House, or is he just trying to sell the restaurant as a turnkey restaurant?
Yeah, I can't speak for the Insleys, but I think that they are selling it as is, turnkey. If you want to change the name,
you can change.
Go ahead, but that seems to be like that would be loopy.
Right. Well, if someone wanted to put like a Mediterranean restaurant in rather than
in Wellsville,
I would love it.
I might love it too, but that formula is pretty. The beef on wick, the blooming onion, the mud pie. Then again, it's Bob Inslee is a big part of that.
Right.
Take him out of the equation. I don't know. The property itself, though, is. It's with the prime property on Main Street.
Yeah. Now is it going to have JB's included in the sale?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So it's not the building; it's just the restaurant.
It's the building. The JB's is the building over. Above the Beef House is a banquet hall.
Okay. I guess I've been up there before. I can't remember.
The gym is the building over.
Okay.
And Martel.
Yep.
Is the I think the
Oh yeah. I didn't even realize.
I think that's all separate.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure the sale is for the Beef House and
just
the
that
building.
one space there.
And then I'm guessing I think they must lease like the Willow Room when you go out that hallway.
Yep.
But you'd be leasing it from
himself.
From Bob.
Yeah.
But if they sold it, which I guess they've got a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Let's just hope it falls into somebody's hands. I think that wants to continue that tradition.
Yeah.
I think it's important. It's iconic with Main Street. And if you think of Wellsville, you think of the Beef House almost as much as the Texas Hot. Not quite, but close. Right. And I think L'Italia will be there soon. We've been here long enough where it's just things you think about when you think about Wellsville.
Yep.
And,
I'm always rocking the tie. I love the tie.
yeah, I mean, those guys have done. I mean, since Pete and Marley started it, and now with these guys, they do an amazing job, and it puts a great foot forward for Wellsville.
Yeah,
but I just think that that's important to have that continuity in those brands.
Yeah.
For other businesses that want to invest nearby.
Yeah.
It really matters.
You need good restaurants.
You really do. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, you need a good hospital. You need good restaurants. You need all the basics. So when somebody comes to town, whether they're coming over the internet, whether they're coming in a car, they see, that we have these great things.
When I bring clients in from out of town, if I have lunch meetings, I either take them to Chelsea's or to L'Italia for the two. Because Beef House is a little because we walk kind of down to Beef House is a little farther down.
Yeah, we always go to Texas Hot.
Yeah.
Because
I do ask.
Everybody wants Texas Hot.
I recommend the Texas Hot, and then I explain to them what it is, and they're like, "Oh, I don't think I'd want that." Because when you explain it to somebody and you say it's a hot dog with meat sauce on it, they don't see the iconicness in there. Who's not from the area, who hasn't heard about it, they just hear hot dog place. So that's why I think they choose to do like Chelsea. This is nothing that's Texas Hot. I love the Texas Hot.
Well, I mean, it's not I like going there.
Yeah.
Because I've gone there since I was this big.
You know what I just discovered that they had there that I never knew they had there? My buddy Ryan Kai alluded me to this, is they have a Sunday, and it's like
Oh, yeah.
$5, and it's huge. I never
yeah.
knew that was there.
I've been there since I was a little boy.
I've never knew it was there. Did you ever get the deep sea doodle when you were younger?
That's all I ever had.
Really? I've never had it.
Yeah.
I should get it.
The deep sea doodle, the pies, Penny's pies when I was younger.
My favorite pie is coconut custard pie. And I travel a lot for what I do. I travel all around the state. I travel everywhere. And the best coconut custard pie, hands down, is at Texas Hot. Now, I've been to boutique pie places.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of that is as diner pie.
Yeah.
It's like, bam, throw it out, slap it on a plate.
Yeah. Pound of whipped cream on it. Have to have that.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't eat meat.
No, I know.
So going to the Texas Hot seems
tough.
silly, but I go there every chance I get.
Yeah.
And I like going there.
Fries.
And I eat fries, and I drink Yingling, and
Yeah, you can get beer there.
yeah. And the people that come to town, they love going there.
You can get off menu items too.
I'm sure.
I get a peanut butter Oreo milkshake or a strawberry Oreo milkshake.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. So yeah, that's a bummer. That's a bummer about, you see these older couples and older business owners that, like we kind of mentioned, they're starting to take a step back. And I hope that someone goes into it, like you said, that wants to keep kind of that tradition or make it something different that's better. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you'll see something soon.
And I don't mean better as in like make it better. I mean, make something different or something new.
Well, everything can be better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so much making the beef house better, but if
Right.
somebody can come and use that for a venue that creates even more community engagement, and more importantly, people from out of town coming in town. That's what we got to focus on is, we want people from Hornell and Olean coming here to eat lunch. Yeah. Not the other way around.
Need to make a destination. Texas Hot's already a destination.
But they all are. We have so many restaurants here that all are great. I always had I wanted to do, I think I still own the website called eatwellsville.com, where it's just restaurants only.
It's copyrighted, guys. Sorry.
Well, you can steal it if you want. The problem with restaurants is they can't find enough staff to warrant advertising.
Right.
Like, we'd love to get more business, but who's going to tackle it? Jasmine and Casey can only do so much themselves.
Right. They're always there.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get them on here. They want to come on the podcast, but just trying to get them.
Don't have them together. Have them separate.
Oh, really?
No, none of that.
Oh.
It's got to be separate.
Okay.
Got to be separate.
Why is that?
I mean, well, they're two different people.
Yeah.
But, if my sweetheart was sitting here with me, it wouldn't be the same.
You'd be more reserved and
You just want them separate.
Okay.
You can use your magic, behind digital skills to do parts where they're kind of together, but I would do it separate.
All right.
Just my 2 cents.
Okay. I respect your opinion.
It's up to you, Casey and Jazz. You guys choose.
Okay. We talked about Beef House.
We need to talk about child trafficking.
Child trafficking. So
And then cannabis.
one of the biggest one of the biggest undertakings last fall that we took on as a project was the Allegheny County Safe Harbor hired me to do a training for them. So it hasn't been released yet, but it's going to be released here this month. And I had Emma Elliott come in to do the voiceover for it. Well, and as we're going down through it, our moods kept getting more dreary and depressed. Yeah, it's depressing.
It's horrible.
My wife just sent me a video this morning of how we have to always check bathrooms now. Because there was this video of this guy who sent his daughter into the girl's bathroom, and he like opened the door, he's like, "Hey, how's it going in there?" And then this guy walks out. Like I don't mean any of the. I mean, this was a man.
Oh, right.
That walked out.
It's not just like using a bathroom.
Right.
Right. I mean, the real danger is the internet.
Yeah.
I think that the non-internet world is just as dangerous when we were kids. Mm-hmm. Our moms were worried about people grabbing us and running.
Yep.
It happened. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen very often.
I think it happened just as much. We just didn't have as much news sources.
I don't think it happened nearly as much because
really?
The main vehicle for doing those things is the internet.
Okay.
You can't successfully prey upon a child without using your phone or the internet. I mean, you can, but it's very rare because it's so much easier to do it that way.
Right.
And the sheer volume of people who every day in your community, in our community, all across Western New York, that actively seek out child pornography on the internet is staggering. It is. If you're the police, they liken it to people speeding on 86. Mm-hmm. Like everybody's going above the speed limit. A lot of people are going way above the speed limit. We can only pull over the people that are going way above. Mm-hmm. But lots of people go by us when we're pulling those people over.
Right.
The stream never stops. And if you watch the number of arrests that the federal government and the state government makes, you just got to wonder, like, how many of these people are out there? Mm-hmm. And then you ask the police personally or ask the federal government. I've talked to the FBI representative about this, who's, they'll say for every one that we arrest, 1,000 go by us.
Jesus.
It's that widespread that they're trying to track. They can track everybody who's involved with it, but they have to only worry about the people who have accessed 1,000 images as opposed to 10. But the people that access 10 are just as harmful as the people that access 1,000. But
I don't understand how do you even look that up and not get caught?
It's because there's so many people that do it. And of course there's virtual private networks. There's lots of digital ways to hide yourself or try to hide yourself. I don't think you can fully hide yourself from this. Mm-hmm. But if you're law enforcement, you can only do some. You only have 10 guys, 10 people on your team, and if every day you get 250 cases, but each case takes the whole day to process, it takes the whole team to do it. You have to let the ones that aren't as bad go by. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, but there's so many people that are doing it, and it's so widespread that if I don't want anybody to think that it's isolated or it's just a small amount of people. It's unfortunately I want to say 10% of our population is involved with it.
That's a big number too.
Mostly men. Women are seem to be arrested as enablers, groomers. They get the kids into the network. They get the videos made. A lot of the stuff comes from overseas. And just to think about the damage done to me and you have little kids too. No, I mean, I have
staggering. Like, I'm biased, but my kids are gorgeous, and I'm terrified every day.
Right.
Of that.
At night, and I have a 4-year-old, and I tell the 4-year-old, "You watch out. There's bad people who would just grab you in a second, and sell you off
We're trying to teach the kids that. We're trying to tell them, hey, if you don't know the person, don't even talk to them. Like,
well,
I don't care if they say that they're.
It doesn't really happen as like when we were kids. It was like, you know, your mom had you in Kmart, and you wandered off, and you got kidnapped from Kmart or from a parking lot. Mm-hmm. But now it's different. Now they're grooming the kids, and they're making relationships and establishing a rapport long before they ever actually commit the crime.
Have you seen my kids? These are my kids.
Yeah, right.
Cute babies.
Adorable. I tell my kids, you're worth $100,000 to somebody as a slave. Like, you don't like. There's no other way to put it.
Right.
Like, they want you as a slave. They will, and that's what they do. And they're primarily preying on, you know, the poor and the people who are and don't have parents like us who are obsessively compulsing about it. But
we're actually, Nicole and I are described by our friends group. We're a free range. So as long as we're like in eyesight, we kind of let the kids do their thing. Once they get out of eyesight, then we go on like a SWAT team prowl. But you know,
I agree.
Some other friends are like they're standing over their kid the whole time at the playground and stuff. That's not us. We give them enough space to be kids,
make mistakes,
right, and they do, and we make mistakes as parents. But it's always in the back of our head that someone could just come by and we would never know.
Well, I mean,
and online is terrifying.
Yeah, online is the big thing. And I don't know how old your kids are. I have an 11-year-old. Mm-hmm. She'll watch this and get furious at me. But, you know, as an 11-year-old kid in today's society, if you don't have an iPhone, you are an outlier. You're one of...
My daughter's 9 and she's already begging.
You're one of 40 who doesn't have one.
Yeah.
You're the outlier. And... I try to make a compromise. Well, I'll get you a flip phone because I'm a flip phone guy. I don't have iPhones.
Do you have your flip phone on you right now?
Yeah. Let me get it out. Oh,
look at this.
How you doing? There she is.
Is this the record button? What is that?
I don't know what that is. I'm not really sure. I don't know how to work the whole thing as it is. Wow. Let alone, what would I do?
I can't believe they still make these.
What would I do with an iPhone?
What does the charger look like?
Bob Confer's an iPhone guy. Bob Confer's like, you know,
there it is.
Runs a whole factory.
USB-C.
Very successful man. Yeah.
Okay.
You can run that over with a car.
Yeah, no, you can probably drop it down from.
Oh yeah, it's one of those durable ones. It's got a bottle opener on the back. You can see I've used it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like we're not going to be able to keep our kids away from iPhones.
Yeah,
I want to, but I'm not dumb enough to think I can do it.
Mm-hmm. We both our kids have our old phones, but it's only on Wi-Fi. And we have the parent like blockage on a lot of stuff, so they can't. We don't have YouTube.
They get around all that.
They're not smart enough yet to do it.
They will be.
No, I know.
By 11, it's like. But yeah,
we used to.
That's a dilemma.
In high school, we used to easily break around the firewall so we could play Unreal Tournament, like that game. Yeah. I don't know if you ever played that game before.
I don't do any of that stuff. I know what you mean, though. Like, kids are smarter than their parents in that regard. Yeah. They'll get around it. They'll figure it out.
You know, I've had my first thing that my daughter knew how to do that I had no idea how to do. She's like, Dad, let me show you. And she did it. And I'm like, it was, I can't remember what it was. But it was something that I should have been able to do that I just didn't even know how to do it.
But they, you know, middle school kids, they work together to thwart each other's parents. Like, oh, you can't get on here? Oh, I'll show you how to do it. Here's the trick. You don't want to be the old person who thinks that kids are dumb.
No.
Like my kids.
Our daughter remembers everything.
Right. They're going to figure it out. They're going to outsmart you. And you're going to be the dumb old person. Yeah. No matter what. So just let them, I guess our approach in our house is to make sure they know like what dangers are coming. Yeah. And we're lucky we don't have any internet access at our house really. So we have to use a hotspot, which is very limited. Yeah. So they can't just be on all the time.
Like the MiFi thing from Verizon?
Yeah. That's all we have.
You run a media company and you just
with a Wi-Fi.
And a flip phone.
And it runs out of data sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll take me, 2 hours to download one picture.
Oh, because they slow it down.
And I'll stand there and pull my hair out and scream at it every month, month after month. And you go to Verizon, I say, can I have more data on my Wi-Fi? And they say, no, you have as much as we can give you.
Yeah.
So I have to get a whole nother hotspot to avoid it when my kids suck it off of me and run out of data. That's like another $100 a month. Mm-hmm. It's like,
you could sit at a coffee shop all day or something. If you want to the library.
No, I like my house too much. I would get Starlink, but we'd have to cut down about 50 trees to get Starlink.
Really?
Work, yeah.
Oh, because
my neighbors have it.
Okay.
Because they have great southern access.
Yeah.
It works great for them.
My parents have HughesNet, I think.
Yeah, we don't have
or something like Dish something.
Yeah, we don't have any. I'd have to cut down all these trees, and some of them are much older than me. There's no way I'm going to do that just so I can get on the internet faster.
They have a farmhouse, so it's a lot of field. So they're able to, like the house is surrounded, but there's enough room to get out there.
I'd have to do a pole or cut trees down.
I think this would be a good question to go into our next segment.
Okay.
Your kids are going to do it, but would you rather them start drinking alcohol or start using cannabis?
Neither.
Obviously.
but I mean, I think both are part of our culture. Mm-hmm. I think that my kids will understand that you can do vast amounts of damage with alcohol.
Yeah.
You can do just so much damage with cannabis. Like and it's really hard to get in trouble with cannabis.
Right.
Like you can get sleepy and eat all the cookies. I guess you could drive a vehicle and cause a problem.
Yeah.
But compared to, I owned a bar for 12 years. So, and I like my alcohol to this day. I'm not trying to say I think it's an evil thing. I think that it's very hard for most people to control and really easy to get out of control. Or cannabis, you're just going to get silly.
I think, I'm more of I quit smoking cigarettes 3 years ago. Because I got really bad acid reflux. I have GERD, what's called GERD. So, the doctor's like, we tell people every day that they should quit smoking. You need to stop now because the next step's cancer. So I quit that day. It's tough, but it's also, since it's bad acid reflux, I don't really drink anymore. I do sparingly, but I don't want to ingest anything into my lungs because I'm terrified that I'll just start smoking cigarettes again. So I switched to edibles. They don't smell. And people really can't tell for the most part when I even take one. And I pretty much take them at night or if I'm going out, I'll take a little stronger.
But if they can tell, they can tell that you're happy.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm the same guy no matter what. I've been told, but there's still that perception. As soon as someone's like, "Would you like a drink?" and I say no, and they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I took an edible before I came," and they're like, "Oh,
right.
Oh,
or don't."
Yeah.
Don't get out of control here.
I know. But there's still that negative, aura about it, which I don't understand.
Well, it depends where you're at, I think.
Yeah.
I think
in our area. Yeah, it's still pretty negative.
It's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. But a small amount of people who probably do it too. Use it as a way to make themselves or make you seem in a different club than them,
right?
I guess, So it's almost like a power thing. Like, for people do it to me all the time. Like, oh, I know you're marijuana. Oh, Andrew, you're just
high all the time.
You marginalize somebody because you think that because they use pot, but you don't marginalize the people that use alcohol.
Yeah. And
everybody that runs our government, our police, they all enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Yeah.
They're not, some of them enjoy cannabis responsibly.
Yeah.
But if you're open about it, you better be ready to take a lot of crap. And I've taken a lot of crap. And I still do all the time.
I'm open about it. And I don't even care.
Yeah. And more and more. I have, I won't name names, but a lot of people around here that are, cornerstones of our community, people that we could not do without.
Yeah.
If they weren't here, we'd be in trouble. These people are stoned.
It's just
They're not causing any problems.
No.
They're doing their job. They're doing their work. They're contributing to their family and their community. And, like people have done for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years, have used cannabis as a way to make for a better quality of life.
Yeah.
Your food tastes better. You're a little bit happier. You might enjoy the sunset more.
Yeah.
You might even notice things you wouldn't notice if you weren't. I've always, in the bird watching world, it's crazy.
Are you a bird watcher?
Oh yeah, I'm
didn't know
an
that.
avid bird watcher.
Do you have a pair of binoculars in your car?
I don't need one. I can identify any bird you see.
20/20 vision.
Almost. No, I've been doing it my whole life. I don't have any kind of a lens or anything, but I'm a bird fanatic.
Yeah.
And all the other bird fanatics I know, not all of them, but a lot of them, it's fun to watch bluebirds.
Okay.
Flutter around, do their thing.
Bluebirds are the aggressive ones, right?
No.
Or is that cardinals? I don't mean aggressive to people. I just mean so my parents have
Swallows. You're thinking of swallows.
well, they have a blue jay. I think it is not bluebird, blue jay.
Blue jays can be.
Yeah, that will attack the cats.
Oh, yeah,
and everything.
sure. Oh, yeah.
The cats don't do
blue
anything.
jay.
They're just come down and they're being jerks and just attacking the cats.
Yeah, swallows do that too. Like barn swallows love
Yeah.
to nip the top of your head or something. But I guess my point is that bird watching is great. Bird watching on cannabis can be almost to the point where you have tears in your eyes because you're awed by, holy wow.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is amazing. Look at these. I never saw that. I didn't know these birds were here. I never took the time to focus myself and pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And that's a good example of what cannabis can do for people. Just a little teeny bit of it too.
Yeah.
It can really make your life better.
So along with the acid reflux, I have IBS, and this is a Nick ran experiment. So there's no actual data, but if I'm having a bad day and I eat an edible, it calms my. And I don't eat a whole thing. I'm not doing it to get high. I just take enough to calm it down, and it works.
There's science behind that.
Yeah.
I
just mean on me personally. It's just my own.
The chemotherapy data is
Yeah.
The first person that ever introduced me to cannabis. I won't mention his name, but he was also the top first responder in Wellsville at the time when I was a kid. This guy saved thousands of people's lives, and he was always using cannabis.
Yeah.
Because he had cancer all the time. He had a blood cancer. And wow, it allowed him to save people's lives.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that to calm his guts down from the chemo, and I think he had even some other complications, then he wouldn't have been able to save people's lives. And that was an interesting example early in my life. Wow, this stuff, wow. My parents said I could overdose on it.
I've never known. And
since my parents, my grandparents, my grandpa was like, I just don't want you to overdose and die. And I was like,
I tell you what, when I've gotten some different strains before and taken it, and I felt like I was gonna, but I just fall asleep and I wake up the next morning and I feel like $1 million.
Yeah, right. No
it's
hangover.
the best sleep.
Yeah. It helps with, things it can help with. And the further along we get into keeping it in the open, the more they can do the research.
Yeah.
They can find that, Maui Wowie is perfect for IBS, or Blue Dream is perfect for insomnia.
Yeah.
Or Sour Deal's perfect for social anxiety.
Are you an indica or sativa guy? Or both?
I guess we can be honest here. I'm a sativa guy during the day and an indica guy during the night.
Yeah. So if I'm going to go, I'm the same way though. If I'm going to go out to a social event where I don't have any responsibility, I'm going to take a sativa. And if I'm just home and I want to watch a movie, I'm going to take indica. But most of the time I'll have a hybrid.
Most stuff is hybrid these days, but I'm lucky to have a decent
handle on things.
And I have a nice, inventory of things that are clearly one or the other that I've, over the years, have decided this is the sativa I like the best.
Okay.
And then this is the indica I like the best. So, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
If you're working I'm not gonna lie. I do work and smoke cannabis at the same time. I know that's a shocking thing to say, but a sativa is like a double espresso.
Yeah.
Like you want to get yourself focused and get some stuff done.
Yeah.
Like have a little sativa in your life with your espresso if you want, but it really has that effect on you. It doesn't have the, you're not going to like lay on the couch and eat Twinkies like people think.
I love Twinkies. Not good, too. when they took them away, I was so sad and I was so happy when they.
Sorry to hit a nerve. I should have said Little Debbie's.
You didn't hit a nerve. I said I love Twinkies.
Oh, no, but I don't.
I didn't think you said anything bad about them.
Oh, you said they changed the recipe and you were,
Oh, no, I said they took them away and I was sad and then they brought them back.
Oh.
So they took them away and I still have a box of the Twinkies before they took them away. Oh. It's probably still good. You probably still eat it.
I heard they've survived a nuclear blast.
Yeah. I saved when they took Sierra Mist away. I have a 6-pack of Sierra Mist sitting in my studio. Oh. Right now it's up to $40. So it's the mini cans. Oh, because that's all I could find at the time when I was like, oh, I need to get some of this.
I remember when 7-Up turned into Sierra Mist.
Yeah. So it's worth $40 right now. I bought it for like $4. It's worth $40. The expiration date's coming up soon, so I don't know if I want to sell it before the expiration date comes or if I want to just keep it.
I don't know what makes it worth more money.
It's just a different recipe. So it's changed. Sierra Mist changed to Starry. Oh, and it has a different recipe.
So it shouldn't matter.
What do you mean?
If it's expired or not, it's still the same different recipe.
No, I know. That's why I don't know if I want to like sell it before it expires or if the market will drop after it expires or not.
I'd wait.
Yeah.
Expired makes it worth more money.
Yeah?
Yeah, the bootleg effect.
Oh, right.
You're not supposed to have it.
There are so many things that I wish I would have kept as a kid. Yeah. That's worth so much money now.
Oh, yeah. I sold coin collections that my grandpa got me just to buy like fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
we made it this far.
we've talked about a lot today. There's a bunch of different mini sections that we talked about.
I think we got it all covered.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk all day about things, especially pertaining to the area. But yeah, let me know what's happening next. What's happening next with in Andrew Harris's world?
In Andrew Harris's world, yep. I'm gonna be going to pick my daughter up and cook dinner. But let's talk about real quick. I think everybody would like to know more about the eminent domain. Okay. The parking lot.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a touchy subject.
It is a touchy subject, but I think it's super interesting for Wellsville history and a completely misunderstood situation too. Like most people don't. People are very upset that the government would take this parking lot away. Yeah. And the owner's very upset. And I know the owner personally, and he should be upset. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the public should be upset though. Yeah. Because I think that the village of Wellsville has to preserve those parking spots. Yeah. Because we don't have enough of that to have sheds put on there. I'm sorry. Those, those sheds are not going to help out you or Chelsea's or the merchants or anybody. Yeah. That's the point of that parking lot is to create a place for people to go to shop. Mm-hmm. And it's always been that way. And
once it's from 5 to 7 o'clock, it's impossible to find a spot on Main Street during the week. Mm-hmm. And that's where the overflow would be, is that back parking lot. Mm-hmm. So what is it, do you think, that people don't
Well, they don't understand? Like government. They don't like the government forcing their hand. Right. The government should not have to force their hand unless it's in the public interest. Mm-hmm. So in this case, the government, I don't think they're not doing this because they want to. Like they don't want the parking lot. The last thing they want to do is take possession of a parking lot, let alone through this means. But they know their responsibility is to the tax base, which is this Main Street vein here. Right. Supports a huge amount of our economy. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're taking the bigger picture into account and not the perceived injustice of taking away something from one person.
Do you think that they dropped the ball, though, back in the beginning when they were trying to deal just personally directly with the owner?
No, I think they tried. And I think the owner tried to deal with them. I mean, Tarak's a good guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an interesting fellow. He's not from around here. He's not like us. He's a different kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But he has bought up a lot of property in this main drag.
I don't know.
And he is also improving that property, mm-hmm. which is something that we have prayed for in this village.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that he can own the main parking lot.
Right.
To the village business district and hold it hostage, which he's not. I shouldn't say that. Not hold it hostage. He shouldn't be able to change the status quo that suddenly. It's always been this way. All of a sudden, he buys it. He wants money for it.
Right.
Fine, great. The village is going to pay for it. It's not like they're not taking it away from him. They're going to pay him $50,000 for it, whatever it turns out to be.
Right. So even with eminent domain, they still are going to pay.
Oh, yeah. Eminent domain doesn't mean you take it. Mm-hmm. Eminent domain means you have a judge approve a fair market value.
Do you think that's where the confusion lies, is people think that they're just going to take it and they don't have to pay for
Yeah. The people that are outraged either have an interest in not being taken away, or they don't understand that it's not taking it. It's a forced sale.
Right.
And
it's the same thing happened with the Keuka Great Lakes cheese and that farm with the eminent domain when they were doing that. Do you remember that?
The farm, they tried to do that.
Right.
That was a whole different situation. I think that was a folly. That was a mistake. They should not have done that. They didn't have their ducks lined up. Right. In retrospect, they did eminent domain without even having an agreement to get power to the site. Mm-hmm. So the situation is a little different. Right.
But in Wellsville, so if they are able to take it over, there's all the word that they're going to put meters in and everything. Is that going to happen? Or
I don't think that they would. I mean, the government's capable of any kind of mischief if you let them do it.
Right.
I think that the spirit of the parking lot goes back to Walt Babbitt. Mm-hmm. So Walt Babbitt owned most of that parking lot. And
was this the person that owned the grocery store?
I don't know if he owned the store or not.
Okay.
I'm not sure. He owned the parking lot. But when he died, or before he died, he was, quite a guy, this guy. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm giving that all to the village, and it's free parking. That parking is meant to support the small businesses. Okay. I think the spirit of that is going to prevail. So I think it's important to people like Chelsea's, Rick Whitwood, the Shop on Main, the brewery, to have that be unrestricted parking. And
there's a solutions hub back there now too.
Yeah, that'll make it even more important. If that place fills up like I think it will, it's a great idea. Yeah, I think that'll be one more reason to have. I mean, back in the day, the ARC actually had it sectioned off for certain spots you couldn't park there during business hours. Mm-hmm. I can see that maybe coming back, but after 5 o'clock, it should be open. Yeah. When I think of that parking lot, I think of Thursday nights where all the merchants are open and ready for more business, and people are coming downtown, and there's somewhere that they can park.
We need to have a first Thursday or first Friday. A lot of cool towns do that, and we should do that. We have ample businesses. It's just getting them to stay open late. Oh. Not just, I don't mean just the restaurants. I mean like the shopping, like Music Alley, the booksellers open late. That's a cool new addition.
Yeah. Well, everything that's going on Main Street is cool.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you know about anything that's happening? Have you heard any hearsay about what's happening across the street from the green space? No. Bummer.
Nothing good. Nothing like it should be. No. I don't. It's owned by people that aren't from around here, and it needs a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And
didn't they just redo it all? Or is that just the apartments?
I don't know. I know they put a sign up.
Okay.
I mean, I know the place got evacuated.
Yeah. Stefan, my editor, actually lived there when it was evacuated.
And based on what I see, I don't think that I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to live there. Okay. We're going to need it. there's no housing.
Right.
We need housing so badly all throughout the county, especially Wellsville. A great example is, Arvos, Lundstrom. Mm-hmm. They have all these jobs. They can't find anybody to take them because there's nowhere to live here.
Right.
I mean, we got to have housing. And it's on the list of, the county recognizes this, but I don't know if the village does as much. But how much can the village do?
Right.
Besides, try to get people like this to fix their buildings up so people can live in them. Mm-hmm. But such huge amounts of money are required. I mean, the building next to that, across from Pizza King, that I think Shane Vogel owns now, mm-hmm. I think he told me it's $500,000 just to get the building ready to develop.
That's just right out that's empty in there, right? Like complete. Yeah. That's just the walls, right?
That's just the walls, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
if you go in the back,
it's open.
It's open. I never knew that until I was. I think I was playing Pokemon and I was just walking back.
If you want to get that place ready to renovate and to work and to live in, it would cost $500,000 just to get it ready.
Do you think it's just worth it just to start new on that space?
I don't know. I'm not a builder.
We're gonna keep going. We do got to wrap this up, but I do. Sure. I do appreciate you coming on, and I know that the Wellsville Sun has done wonders for our local area. Just getting the news out. I mean, we needed it, and like you said, when Baldwin stepped down, you stepped in, and now you have various people just community. And can people write their own like columns? So you got Wiser's Ramblings.
I mean, I guess to be a columnist, you have to put your time in.
Right.
Fred Sinclair will tell you he wrote a lot of letters, and I said, well, you're not really a columnist yet.
Right.
But he wrote enough, and he kept doing it, and he got enough notoriety and credibility. I said, yeah, okay, now you're a columnist.
Cool.
But we want all the letters to the editor we can get, so don't be shy. WellsvilleSun@yahoo.com. Mm-hmm. Anytime. That's me.
Except for when you don't have the internet. Just that's true.
If I have to, I'll come down here and sit outside your building and use your Wi-Fi.
That's fine. There's spaces in here. You can have your own little workspace away from home if you want.
Maybe someday when I grow up.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for coming on, and especially being the first episode of the new year. And thank you for sharing them on the Sun. I appreciate that as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for doing this. This is fun for everybody to watch, I think. To see people's faces. And
I've had people that I would never in a million years would think would be the type of person to watch this, but they're like, I loved your podcast with Rick Whitwood. That was very well done.
Good.
It's like, I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't stop watching. It's one of the things. Good. It was one of the women in my wife's choir. She's on the Genesee Valley Chorus. So, but cool. Yeah. So nothing new coming. Nothing major new coming.
Lots of new stuff coming. You got to go to the WellsvilleSun.com to find out.
WellsvilleSun.com. You heard it here. Thank you for coming on, Andrew.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.